My next guest on the show is the one and only Jason Verlinde from the Fretboard journal. Jason, how are you doing today at day one of the NAMM show?
I'm doing well. It's early. I'm still awake. Yeah, things are good. Things are good.
Okay. I mean, for me, it is such a pleasure to be able to meet you and just to listen to your voice, because I am a huge fan of what you do with the Fretboard journal. You're going to talk about it, but also of the podcast. And I can tell you, I spend so many hours listening to that voice that it feels really weird. It feels like I am inside the podcast. You know, so it's Inception style.
We'll get you on our podcast.
Well, you know, that would be a lifetime achievement for me. Huh?
Sure. Anytime. We'll Zoom. We'll do it.
All right, Jason, tell me a little bit more about your story. What was your first guitar?
Oh my gosh, my first guitar, I don't even remember. I'll tell you this. I worked for Amazon when Amazon was just starting out. In 1998, I moved to Seattle, Washington from California.
So you are super rich now?
No, I'm not. I've blown it on publishing and stupid stuff. But I moved up as a music journalist, and I had always loved interviewing bands, and I interviewed young bands and indie bands, and sometimes those bands don't have much to talk about, but if you ask them about their gear, suddenly their faces light up and they want to nerd out on gear. And so I was doing that up in Seattle for Amazon and alternative weeklies and newspapers and everything, and I bought like a Martin D15 with, like, I finally had a day job, so I bought like just a simple Dreadnought Martin.
Okay.
And from there I kind
Not
of...
a bad start?
No, but I got the guitar bug.
Okay.
And so it was literally from that as I started to work there, and I got burned out on work, as often happens when you work for a giant company that's growing and growing. But I kept getting into guitars, and I really love publishing, I really love writing, and I'd look at the newsstand and go, why do guitar magazines all look this one way? Why can't there be sort of an alternative guitar magazine that has a little more breathing room and fewer ads and beautiful photos? And that's sort of how the Fretboard Journal happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you decided then, okay, I'm going to be poor, but making
pretty much a vow
making
of poverty.
sense of what I the value of property. Property. Yeah, I know what it feels. Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2005, I took a leave of absence and then never went back to Amazon. Okay. And I asked fellow publishers who did magazines like the Fretboard Journal, but in other things. There's a surfing magazine that's from here that's very popular.